Fancy,
Okay.
fancy.
Greetings, everyone. Welcome to Quantum Leap. I'm your host, Toyin, Umesiri, author of Mindset of an Entrepreneur. With me today in the studio is Mr. James Out. He's an executive sales trainer and currently works with a large financial services organization where he's responsible for sales and sales leadership development and professional coaching. Mr. James has also spent 25 years leading sales team and is a member of John Maxwell Leadership Certified Team. His mission is to create significant impact, positive change, and superior results in others. Welcome to the show, James.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it. It's great. I'm excited to be here.
Me
This is
too. We're
great.
going to have fun.
We are going to have fun
We're going to
today.
have fun. First of all, your mission.
Yes.
How you impact other people, how you invest in other people, how you serve other people, how you train, coach, improving the performance of other people. That's really great,
Awesome. Thank
right?
you.
And I see that as a passion,
Yeah, it's unbelievable.
and it's a shared value you and I both have. So
Yeah.
I'm happy to have you here today. So tell a little bit about yourself as we start setting the stage for how you train business owners and your team, your corporate team, on improving their sales professionalism.
Yeah, so I figure out how far back to go, but I think there's a story that I'd like to tell that really set the trajectory of everything that I do, and it was back when I was a kid. It's kind of interesting. So I grew up in the panhandle of Florida, and my dad's parents had a farm in Middle Georgia, and we would drive up there often. And we were driving up there one day, and I was like 8 or 9 years old, and out of nowhere, I yelled to the front seat to my dad and said, "Hey, Dad, do you know what I'm going to do when I turn 18?" And being a dad now, I can only imagine my dad's like rolling his eyes. He's like, "What, son?" And I said, "I'm going to rent a semi truck and drive around, pick up hitchhikers, and take them wherever they want to go."
Wow.
And I didn't know it at the time, but that really spoke to this desire to serve people. And that has been the foundation of not only my sales leadership career, but also my coaching practice, is helping someone get to where they want to go.
Wow.
That's it. And helping them along that journey.
I love it. And isn't that what service is about? And even
Yeah.
business ought to be about service.
Yeah. When you start a business, I was actually doing something just last week, and the individual said, if you're in business to make money, that might be a perspective shift necessary. You might want to be in business to serve in some way. And then when you serve in some way really well, then everything else.
So the money is the reward. For service.
Money's the outcome. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So how does sales fit into business development, business growth?
Yeah. We could probably spend all
Yeah,
day
I
talking
know.
about this. As a quote that I've had for years, I have no idea who said it. I don't know where it started, but it's one of my favorite quotes, and it's, "Nothing in this world happens until somebody sells something."
Wow.
So I don't care what kind of business it is, whether you're an accountant, whether you're an attorney, whether you sell ice cream, you are in fact exchanging something for money, and that's sales. And having that mindset, because good quality, high level sales is service. You are serving someone else.
Yeah.
And having that mindset in whatever you're doing allows you to really understand who that person is that you're serving.
Right. So it is a mindset shift. And one of the things that I say now, but I first heard it when I was with Walmart, and I believe Amazon also, this is one of their core mindset around customers, is this customer obsession and putting the customer as the center of the business, as the heartbeat of the business, and building everything around the customer.
Yeah.
But I realized that many entrepreneurs and business owners, they put themselves in that position.
They do. That is such a great point. And I'm building. I published my book a couple years ago, and I've got a new one coming out, and I'm building some stuff for that new book. And it's so easy as someone who has very clear idea of what the outcome is. And I think a lot of business owners, they have a passion, they have a deep understanding of their craft, and they put themselves in the customer's seat. And it is an intentional mental shift to go, wait a minute, no, I'm not who I'm serving.
Right.
I'm serving someone who doesn't know me.
Right.
So how am I going to put together whatever my offering is, whatever my service is, with their first?
Right.
It's really interesting. It's an interesting shift.
This is so powerful because in order to help those I coach as well to not cross the boundary, there's a boundary we shouldn't be crossing when it comes to our emotional state of being. I came up with this equation. My first degree is mathematics. So I said, passion sells, desire buys.
Oh, goodness.
Right?
Absolutely.
Because oftentimes there's this temptation to impose our will, right? To get into the other side of that equation and try to impose our will and try to get people to buy versus passionately presenting, passionately inviting, passionately articulating the value, and then helping people be positioned and giving them enough things to consider for the sale.
Yeah. Oh man, I'm going to date myself here. So, anyway. So in the late '90s is when or mid '90s when I started my sales career, and I learned selling, high level selling anyway, easy, fun selling is not trying to convince anyone of anything. You are creating an environment to allow them to make a decision to buy. It is a total different mind shift. And when, we've all had that seller experience where they tried to convince us that we need to make a decision, and the walls come up, we resist it, and we run.
Yes.
And when you create a buying environment, it's like when you were a kid and you took two magnets with the same polarity and you try to put them together, they won't go together. And that's a salesperson or a business owner who's trying to sell you something. Creating a buying environment is taking that magnet on purpose and flipping it over where you connect with the other person.
Right.
And you're able to understand what they're going through and provide something maybe that could help.
So attracting, not repelling.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Ooh.
We could go on forever on that.
I
mean,
know.
that's the work that I've done for so many years, is helping people understand that shift. Because when that shift happens, man, that's when you sell more, you sell faster, and you have a whole lot more fun doing it.
So there must be some psychology behind sales.
Absolutely. Yeah, it is a mindset, because many people who are either business owners or in a sales role find themselves having to sell. And then when they realize that, they're like, oh my goodness, I'm not a salesperson, so I'm going to try to hide behind the fact that I'm trying to sell. And a mental shift that is necessary is, no, wait a minute, no, I am selling something. I had an accountant friend years ago that partnered with me to help him learn how to sell, because he realized he needed to grow his business, and without selling, it wasn't going to happen. And it was an interesting journey we were on.
Wow.
Really interesting.
So why don't business owners prioritize improving their sales skills more? Is it that they don't know, or is there something to sales in of itself as something that people go, I don't want to be involved in sales?
I think it's, I don't want to be seen as that. I don't want to be seen as a salesperson, because let's just be honest, the typical image of a salesperson is not positive in culture. They're slick, they're sleazy, they're trying to pull one over on you. You're always maybe thinking you're being taken advantage of, and that's just an image. And understanding that is not reality, and getting your mind around that allows you to propel yourself forward.
So it feels like there are two different things we have to work on here. One is, how do we groom more people into the sales profession? And then how do we enlighten the world in general about the healthy side of sales? Because when people want to move from point A to point B, the resources and help and support you need to achieve your goals, you do need to acquire those things.
You do.
And making the right decisions of who to partner with and who to give the opportunity to serve you also is a choice people have to make every day.
I agree. Yeah,
right?
totally.
Because the unhealthy side of the general population, and this is something I have seen, particularly in the startup world, is that many people end up with the wrong salesperson. They end up investing in the wrong program, primarily because people buy what they want to believe.
They do. They do. And it's interesting.
Yes.
We'll be here all day. I think we're going to be here all day. We culturally, we also like the quick fix.
That's it.
The microwave mentality.
Yes.
And, I'm putting together a sales program right now.
Yes.
That the whole idea is that it flies in the face of that quick fix, because there is no quick fix.
There is no quick
Like
fix,
there's
but
no
we want it.
there's no magic 25 questions you can ask
But
to
that
close
sells,
every.
though.
I understand. What's interesting though that is there's no magic question, there's no magic email, there's no magic negotiation technique, there's no magic. It is good, honest service mentality to understand what you're looking for. Maybe I can influence that thought process. A good high-level seller is influential. So my whole practice for years has been, no, we're not gonna try the quick fix. It just doesn't work. Let's get really deep into what actually works.
Yes.
It's hard. It is swimming upstream.
Yes, and what I've found, and maybe the hybrid method is the way to go, because this is something I'm trying to crack a code on. At the highest levels, working with the most successful people, they know what you and I are talking about.
They do.
They're not even interested in quick fixes. Okay? So successful people are very easy to sell on the hard, right, solutions.
That's right.
Because they know it does take that level of intentionality, focus, grit, perseverance to turn a dial.
Yeah.
However, when we go several steps below to those who are entering the business world newly, first-time entrepreneurs, maybe 5 years into establishing the business, looking to scale to the next level, they really do not know the value of long-term investments.
Yeah.
Right? They do not have the 3, 5 year, 10-year roadmap. They're looking for today. I want to sell today. I want to sell tomorrow. That's it. Give me what will help me sell now. 5 years will take care of itself.
Right, that's right.
So
Yeah.
in a way, that group, that demographic of people, in a way, they're very exposed, extremely exposed to people who sell the quick fixes.
They are. They are. And it's hard to penetrate that thought process because it's everywhere. I mean, it doesn't matter if it's sales or if I want to lose 10 pounds or if I want to, invest in crypto. I mean, it's everywhere. It's just, I'm going to become a millionaire tomorrow. And it just doesn't work. So, trying to figure out, from a sales perspective, how to serve that mentality. That's what I do every day is, okay, let's talk about what you're thinking because, true coaching is listening and asking really good, thoughtful questions. I had a coach that I have yesterday asking me a really impactful question, and I'm like, I wasn't expecting it. I was like, okay. So, figuring out, is there some, I don't want to call it a crack because that sounds negative. Is there an opportunity for a conversation? And I like to play what if with people like that. What if you were to look at it a little bit differently?
Right.
And it kind of opens the gates.
Yes. And that really is what led me more into emotional intelligence, mindset coaching, because in order for people to change behavior, if there's a known behavior, right, that the tendency is we want quick fixes, this is where our mind is, this is our perspective on life, this is our belief system, this is our value system, anything outside of that, in a way, it's like an echo chamber. People are oblivious. There's no consciousness to actually real success.
Yeah. I don't remember who said the quote, and I'm not going to get the quote perfectly, but the individual said that most people are only willing to call into question 5% of what they know, and that's a really good day. And I don't know who said it. It's interesting because I'm also I also do emotional intelligence work.
Okay, good.
I'm also DISC certified as
Wow.
well, and to see those two interact, when you think about what makes our personality and how we show up, it really is three things. It's how we were born. It's our heredity, DNA, mom and dad. Thank you very much, or
Yeah.
depending on what we like, but also how we were raised, the experiences that we had, and the people in our lives. And we all have blind spots.
Yes.
Blind spots, by definition, we don't know we have them.
Yeah.
If you don't think you have them, then ask your friends. They will tell you you have them.
Yes.
Ignorance is bliss, though, because if you don't know you have them, there's no responsibility.
Right.
The moment you see one, and as it relates to sales or running a business, the moment you see a blind spot, you're
Yes.
like, oh goodness.
Yes.
Ah!
And that's the pain. That's the pain of growth.
That is the pain of growth. And to get from maybe a new business owner or a 5-year business owner or even a 10-year business owner that wants to scale, there's a reason there hasn't been scale already. So how do we attack the reason there hasn't been scale already? Because if you knew how to scale, you would already be scaling.
Yeah.
So what is the mental work? Coaching is the way. There's so much value. I hired my first coach in 2001.
Wow.
And it changed I wouldn't be sitting right here today without that experience, because it challenges your thought processes. It challenges your current paradigms. It challenges, okay, wait a minute. What I'm doing today, W. Edwards Deming has a great quote: every system is perfectly designed to get the results that it gets. So think about that.
Yeah. And I love this conversation because there are two sides to this conversation. There's the nurturing of the growth in the entrepreneur and the business owner or in their teams. There's also how sales teams intersect and interact with the general population, the people they want to serve. And one of the most beautiful things is that I see that the way we see ourselves, the way we talk to ourselves, what we believe actually translates to when we work with other people. We talk to other people the way we talk to ourselves. And we think people think the way we think.
Right.
We think they know what we know. And so the reason I'm saying that is I try to help people do the inner work.
Yeah.
Right? Do the inner work, because you talked about the magnet, because when you grow, when you ascend, when you develop skills, when you gain new perspective, you're going to see and experience a different side of life. Naturally.
Absolutely.
That elevation, that self-actualization, that investment we make in ourselves, all of a sudden opens us to new realms of life, things we've never seen before, because it's about consciousness and awareness and knowledge. And one of the things I say about knowledge, even sales and any aspect, knowledge, knowing, it's a bridge into the realm of the known, into the realm of the unknown.
That's right.
And we really don't know what we don't know until we cross over.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm a quote guy. I
too,
see
you can
things
tell.
I've got pictures in my brain, and I learned something in 2016 when I joined the Maxwell team that was taught to me called the cycle of mediocrity, and it says that we use our current awareness to evaluate our situation, which means we use that awareness to make the same type of decision over and over again.
Yes.
So it takes a pattern interrupt to create that new set of beliefs and awareness. Because without that change, nothing will change.
Exactly. And reality doesn't change as well.
Yeah, and in absence of information, we make up our own stories. So as a business owner, if we're not really sure how to grow, we make up our own stories that we can't grow, or that it's not for us, or maybe the business doesn't, whatever the narrative is that we create. And, we just, good quality coaching will interrupt that pattern.
Right. And part of the narrative is, the customer is the problem. Not taking responsibility of how do I educate them? How do I serve them better? Is there something I'm not communicating? Is there something they do not know that they need to know? Is there something that is in the way of this communication?
They're pure, if we just peel it back from a pure sales perspective. So again, any type of business owner, this is, whether you're a service business or you're a true seller, there's one of two reasons why you don't make a sale.
Okay.
It's either you weren't supposed to be in the deal in the first place,
Okay.
or you were outsold.
Oh, go deeper.
That's it. So not every prospect is a good fit for whatever it is you're searching. So if I'm an attorney, for instance, and I'm trying to grow my book of business, not every client is a good ideal customer.
Mm-hmm.
So understanding how to evaluate that's shouldn't be in the deal. Maybe you just walk away from an opportunity because it's not the right fit. The other one is you are outsold, which puts responsibility on you, rather than saying the customer didn't understand, or they wouldn't return my call, or they wouldn't do this or that. Putting the responsibility on you. Okay, where did I mess up? Where did I not ask the right question? Where did I not connect with them well? It drives the growth.
Right. There's pure gold in what you're talking about. So if you connect that to the qualification process, the sales qualification process, it's actually an empowering process for the sales to know.
Oh, absolutely.
Right?
Yeah.
When do I walk away?
Yeah.
Who's the right one?
The high level attitude of a seller, from my perspective,
Right.
I'm here, so I'll give you my perspective,
Yes.
is I am there to connect
Connect.
the prospect to a solution.
Yes.
That's it.
Yep.
I'm not tied to the outcome. I'm not tied to the yes or no. I'm just trying to get them to make a decision. If it's for me, great. If it's for someone else, great. That's okay.
Okay.
When you have that type of a perspective, you will win more than you lose,
Okay.
because you are truly, genuinely there to serve your prospect.
Right.
You're just there to connect them to where they are, to where they want to go.
Right.
And sometimes they know there's another destination. They can't quite see it. It's like you mentioned, just in growth. Like, I can't quite see where I'm going to go. Some people that you are engaged in a sales process, they don't necessarily know where they want to go. They just know they want something different.
This is so good. This
Yeah.
stuff is so good because it's tough to sell to a confused person. Clarity.
Confusion means no.
Exactly.
Absolutely. When you get a no, that's when I get a no, it's either I wasn't supposed to be here, so shame on me, or I didn't do something well enough to get them to say yes, shame on me.
Right. So I think the key is clarity, right?
Clarity, task, yeah,
Right.
absolutely.
If you know what you're trying to achieve, where you're trying to go.
We've come full circle here.
Yes.
Because if someone doesn't own the fact that they are selling, they will dance around it all day.
Yes.
And it causes poor prospecting efforts.
Yes.
Because they don't want to look like they're prospecting.
Right.
It produces poor questions because they don't want to seem salesy.
Right.
And the whole system breaks down.
Right. And there's a lot of emotional stuff that goes on in
Absolutely.
that space.
Absolutely.
Wow. So coming back to, businesses, established businesses now that want to go to the next level,
Yeah.
what would your advice be? Because the power of your sales team is really what fuels growth. Right, your systems, definitely your systems, your processes, your
Yeah.
back end, operational support. Like, don't try to make promises in the marketplace if you don't have the back end.
Of course.
So let's assume they're set up for growth. They have all the systems, capabilities settled. Now to crank the engine and go to the next level, right? What does that look like?
So I'll use the established business. They got a couple of sellers, and
Yes.
maybe everything starts with leadership.
Okay. Yep.
So a lot of times organizations will forget that aspect and they'll focus on the salesperson. So if I'm a business and I have 3 or 4 salespeople and one person managing those salespeople, the success or failure of that sales team will rise and fall on the skill of the leader.
The leader of the
The
sales
leader
team.
of the sales team, the leader's ability to engage that sales team, create a culture of empowerment, to create a culture of skill development,
Right.
to create a culture of just engagement. I think I said that, but that's the missing link. Whether it's a big organization or a small organization, is many senior executives will forget the field level sales leader and go right to the salesperson and wonder why nothing changes. That's my first book. It's all about this cycle.
What's the name of your book?
The first book is Break the Cycle Within
Okay.
Your Sales Organization, the 8 Essentials of Effective Sales Leadership. And it is all about this forgotten group of people within many companies, which is that field level leader. They're hired, they're usually high level sellers, they get promoted, very little training or development on how to be a really good leader. And then it comes into the game of whack-a-mole, where the head pops up and you just
Right.
try to swat it. That's what a traditional sales leadership experience, because they're too busy to invest in their people. So that's what I've seen in every organization that I've worked or served
Right.
in some way, is there's a missing link between the goals of the organization and the sales team, and that missing link is that field level leader.
Right. So nurturing a culture of excellence within a sales team and giving and empowering the leader to nurture the growth of their team.
Yes.
Team.
In a healthy way.
In a healthy way.
Not a the beatings will continue until the morale improves type culture, which a lot of sales organizations have,
Right.
unfortunately.
Right. And this is bringing us into this post-COVID era
Oh,
of
gosh. Yeah.
productivity. I think before COVID, that we had many of that.
Mm-hmm.
But I think post-COVID, there's now a new conversation of what does it mean to lead humans? Real humans, like
Yeah.
being empathetic, not just expecting people to perform as if they're robots, AI. But I think there's a new conversation, and even in the marketplace, even for salespeople to sell to consumers. Before, we had the massive sell, you're just a number, this is what's available, take it or leave it. If you don't buy from me, you're not going to get it anywhere else. But I know several years ago, when I was doing this work at Walmart, when it comes to strategy, we looked into the future of retail, and we knew that the cell phone was already going to disrupt, right, consumer behavior. And the cell phone empowers the buyer. The consumer is
Yeah.
now more informed, more educated, more enlightened, and they have a ton of options in their hands. And that changes the entire sales landscape, because now you really have to be in service. You have to tell them something they don't know.
That's right. That's right. That is top two things of effective sellers. Is number one is sharing something with me that I don't know, and then number two is collaborate with me. And collaborate means let's have a conversation. A lot of times there's a sales kind of methodology mindset that's out there that teaches to share insight. And what I've seen people do with that thought process is, I'm going to share insight and tell you why you need to buy from me.
I love it.
But that's being a bull in a china shop. That is trying to convince someone. So when you think about sharing insight and collaborating, it's here's some information. What do you think about it? So, I'm old school in some ways as it relates to selling.
Old school is good.
And, a good, healthy, collaborative engagement is what high-level sellers do.
Yes, and I think when you talk about old school, I'm young, relatively, but
I'm still 12 in my head.
Okay,
So.
but trust me, there's some foundational stuff we shouldn't shift on.
Absolutely.
Okay.
I totally agree.
So if that's what old school means, I say yes to it.
Yeah.
More great, like
Well, I
there's some
think you mentioned it
foundational-
earlier,
Yeah.
where the top level people understand that it really is about the basics very, very
It's
well.
hard work.
Doesn't matter what it is.
Yep.
Golf,
Right.
football, selling,
Right.
growing a business. There's
Right.
very little new things.
Right. But what's new, which is very dangerous, and this is why online the people I nurture, I try to call it out, is if you're moving into the business world for the first time under this climate, you've got to be really, really careful what you're buying into, because there's some school of thoughts that leads to ultimate failure.
Yeah.
Right? The ones that says it's easy, the ones that says you don't have to work hard, the ones that says be entitled, that only creates poverty.
Yeah.
And one of the things that I say, and this is, if I could scream it, right, is that the middle class in America is going to be eroded by this thinking of those who do not know how the middle class was created. Right? The middle class was created purely on hard work. You lose that, you slide back into poverty.
That's
Right? So
great.
people are just a decision away from folding their hands, not showing up, not doing anything, feeling they can do barest minimum and get away with it, because that's the online world mixes everybody, right? It's a flat structure. So you're mixing, people are being exposed to mindset, thought processes, belief systems, good, bad, ugly. And when people tune to only what sounds good, not what is right, I think 2-3 years down the line, they're going to find themselves in places they never intended, because there's no way you buy into a belief system that only gets people down into poverty. They may not know that today. I'm very passionate about this because I do a lot of economic development work.
Yeah.
Is that I've studied economic development so much around the world that what determines success and poverty is just belief system, mindset, behaviors, outlook on life. And when people shift their eyes from hard work to believe they don't have to work hard, it's just
Wow.
It's the end of civilized. It's the end of the middle class, because you cannot show up to any employer right now and not put in the work.
It's really hard.
You can't hold on to some form of livelihood without being dedicated, without bringing energy, without bringing a life force, without bringing excitement, passion. Because at the end of the day, business owners deserve our best.
They do.
They do. And so when people think they can show up and not give that and still get the best out of life, they abuse spiritual principles as well. You sow what you reap.
Yeah.
So that's just my own philosophical spiel right there. I say, watch out, watch out. There's so much going on online. You've got to be clear not to believe any of this stuff. It's spreading wide.
Yeah, it's so easy
It's so
nowadays.
easy.
So
It's so easy. So you can't bring that mindset to win in sales. That's also why this is important. You can't build your business on that mindset. You can't win as an entrepreneur with that mindset. It's pure hard work. It's dedication. It's perseverance. It's focus. It's determination.
Yeah.
That's the only way you achieve greater in life.
And it's, when you build a business, it's probably going to take you twice as long and cost you twice as much than you thought. I mean, it just is what it is.
Yes.
But I love that. And, belief starts it all. So, our culture is, if I want a different outcome, then I just am going to do something different. I'm just going to
say that again, please.
So what our culture says is, if I want a different outcome, I'm just going to do something different.
Okay.
That doesn't work. The best analogy, the number one New Year's resolution every year is, I'm going to diet, lose weight, join the gym, whatever it is. That's why I don't go to the gym in January, because they're busy. But by February, everybody's stopped.
Okay.
Because they're just attempting to change the behavior. The reality is, you've got to back up and say, okay, what is the belief around whatever it is that you're trying to change? Because if the belief is not changed, you can white knuckle the new behavior for just a short period of time, but you'll go back to what you were trying to do, or what you were doing before, whatever it was. So from a sales perspective, if I want to improve what I'm doing, the quick fix is, give me the list of questions that will make everyone say yes. Well, the reality is that doesn't exist. If I can help you through coaching and some training and knowledge share to change your belief about how you're going to sell, you don't need a list of questions, because it is now part of your mindset that I've got to serve. So my personal philosophy is, I don't teach people questions to ask. I teach people how to ask questions. It's the old fish, give a man a fish, You feed them for a day, teach them to fish, you feed them
Right.
for a lifetime. So in my analogy is if you and I were out to dinner and I wanted to know about you, I would have no problem asking you questions to
Right.
find out about you.
Right.
But in a sales call, we get all bunged up. I don't know why.
If we could go a little bit deeper before we wrap up today, because what you're talking about is so deep, I want to simplify it as EQ versus IQ.
Absolutely.
In the sense of, if the mind is set in the past to behave a certain way and to pursue certain outcomes because there are certain rewards tied to those outcomes, which has been programmed in the old belief system, you can push the mind, you can force it only so far, and it's like a bungee, it's like a, what's it called, rubber band. It comes back.
That's right.
You stretch it a little bit, it comes back. So the heart posture, because belief is a condition of the heart, at the soul level, is, who am I? What are the outcomes that I believe in? Because for me, belief is stronger, so I'm with you on that, is that you can determine the outcomes of your life by what you believe.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right? And so reprogramming that signals to the mind that you're ready to grow, that you're ready to ascend to higher levels of behavior, that you're ready to shift, because the mind actually protects us from changing.
It does.
Right? It's like
absolutely.
the if you set the GPS to California, you make a wrong turn. If you change your mind on that journey and say, oh, I want to stop by, trust me, your GPS did not know you changed your mind. Right?
Yeah.
So if you make the wrong turn, the GPS says, sorry, come back. Right? Because the GPS was tuned to California. So I see belief system as the same way. The day you want to start behaving at a higher level, at a different level, just change the GPS,
right.
program yourself, work on the inner art, and then you can move forward. So I'm big on that as well. So this applies also in sales and business, right? Is that I find that many people were programmed to be employees, 20 years, 30 years, perfecting that space. When we want to become an entrepreneur, we register our company, right? Because sales requires a different belief system than employee mindset.
Absolutely.
So that transition I found is extremely painful, because the employee mindset is dependent, is not responsible for all outcomes of the business, right? It's narrow focused, deep skills in one dimension. Whereas as an entrepreneur, there's a lot of dexterity, your outlook on life, your relationship with people. You have to embrace, you have to expand your capacity. You have to see the entire company end to end as your responsibility. You have to show up, right? So on and on and on. So I think sales is one of those spaces where I would encourage, and I believe you as well, encourage more business owners and entrepreneurs to go deeper on.
Go deeper, invest in your growth. I mean, like I said earlier, in 2001, when I paid out of my own pocket to have a coach, and it changed my life. So understanding that you don't have to know the destination, but be willing to go on the journey. A lot of us won't take a step until we know where that step is going to land. That's what keeps us the same, because our brains are designed to keep us safe. They were created to keep us safe. So if I close my eyes and take a step, that is scary. And as a business owner, going into the unknown, because we start businesses because we have a passion about something.
Yes.
To be wildly successful, it takes a shift away from I'm passionate about this to I'm passionate about this, the people that you're serving. Because you're gonna fulfill the service in a way, that's the offering, the product, the solution, the service. Be willing to challenge how you're viewing what you're doing is the only way to get a new outcome on purpose. Now you can get an outcome by accident, but now you're trying to repeat it, and you're like, what did I do? But partnering with someone.
Yes.
Partnering with someone to help you take that step when you don't know where your foot's going to land is really important.
It's wise. It's a
Very,
wise decision.
if you want to grow.
If you want to grow. Wow.
Yeah.
This is incredible. Love it. Let's shift to more of your leadership principles and just one or two things, your approach to life that has helped you continue to grow, expand, shift, adjust in your professional growth expansion. What has your outlook been in terms of how you navigate life? And I'm sure our audience can learn from you as well.
Yeah, it starts with that story that I told you about going to pick up hitchhikers. So the first essential in my book is to serve, not be served. So whatever you're doing, that posture that I am here, like right now today, my goal and my being is to serve you and to serve everyone watching. And that is just, do I do it perfectly all the time? No.
Right.
But that's the heartbeat.
Oh, wow.
And then it goes back to John Maxwell's leadership definition is the second one, which is leadership is influence. That's it. It's not a title. It is a posture, not a position. So leadership is influence. Then he goes on to say, influence is genuinely caring for and connecting with other people. Without genuinely caring for and connecting, you can't influence. And without influence, there's no leadership.
Wow.
So, the SAT question where you go, there is no leadership if you aren't genuinely caring for the people in your care.
Yes.
So those are the two things that, hopefully people continue to see in the work that I do. And
I'll share one that I experienced of you.
Yeah, please.
Oh my, okay. You saying yes. Like your ability, you may not be aware of this, but I experienced of you saying yes to something that you were not really familiar with, and you being able to step through it and just explore. I think you're an explorer.
Yeah.
Because I pretty much came to you out of nowhere.
I had no idea.
And I said, you.
That's right.
It's like, you.
You're like,
I have a show. You need to come.
Yeah. I love teaching goal setting. It's part of what I do. I'm passionate about goal setting. And one core principle of effective goal setting is to suspend the requirement of knowing how to do it. So I didn't know you. I didn't know who you were. I got this TV. Sure. We'll figure it out along the way. Yeah. So
and I'm good with asking, by the way.
Yeah,
I'm very good with asking.
It goes back to what I said about taking the step and not knowing where the foot was going to land.
Yeah. So you definitely displayed that.
Well, I appreciate that.
And wow, thank you for that.
Yeah.
And I also, which is part of sales, is my own part is I always ask. This is the only way that I build my business. I host, world leaders. If you want to do something, you've got to perfect your ask.
Yeah.
Right? You've got to, that invitation, that connection with humans, that sales of presentation. And at the end of the day, human to human, heart to heart, we get to feel our vibration. And in a way, you will know if it's not right.
Yeah, because you feel it.
You feel it. Yeah.
You
right?
feel it.
So this is not about just saying yes. It's saying yes, particularly in the moment that feels right. But when the head goes into but being able to bring it, if the heart is at peace and knows this is the right thing, people also need to be able to train the mind not to sabotage opportunities, because opportunities emerge, from a faith-based, you and I share faith, right? Is that one of the things I tell people is all the prayers you're praying will be answered in a moment.
Right.
And if you miss the moment it's being answered, your prayer just come back again.
That's why the yes for me was so quick, because the yes came from my heart. If I started to think about it,
like, who's she?
I'm like, well, who is this? What does she do? But it's our brain gets in the way.
It does. So this is a sales moment.
That's
me
right.
selling you and you buying. So thank you.
No, absolutely.
Okay. Yeah. So any other parting words for the audience? This has been delicious. I enjoy, like you can tell, knowledge is delicious in terms of talking to knowledge experts like you. So I want to thank you for coming.
You're welcome.
But any parting words for the audience today?
I would say whatever you're doing, whatever you want to do better, find someone to help you. That's all I would say. Whether it's me or whether it's you or someone else, that's going to be the fastest way to do it.
Right. And I agree with you, because somebody taught us ABCD. 1, 2, 3.
Ah.
We went through, we're here to learn. We're here to grow. We're here to expand. And we're not here to be lost. And so find your teacher, find your mentors, find your coaches, find those who have gone ahead of you that can teach you and show you the way. So that's a fantastic message to leave our audience with today. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining us on this episode of Quantum Leap. I look forward to seeing you again next week. God bless you. Bye.